Meeting of the Greater Lafourche Board Commission would now come to order. Please turn down your cell phones or take them off. Okay, next we have Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see. Mr. Robbie, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next roll call. Mr. Cully.
Yes, sir. Seat A, Chucky Sharonby.
Here.
Seat B, Johnny Ardon.
Here.
Seat C, Jimmy Lafont.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney J. Gisclair Sr. is absent. Seat E, Curtis Pierce.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Melisson.
Here.
Seat H, Mike Cully here. Seat I, Chris Cully.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Cully. Next we have approved minutes for June 9, 2021 meeting. Need a motion. Moved by Larry, Mr. Griffin, seconded by Mr. Melisson. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion pass. Next, we have retirement recognition for maintenance supervisor, Superintendent Frank Terrebonne.
All right, Mr. President, we have the next two items are retirement recognition for two of our employees. And unfortunately, neither one of them could attend today's meeting. Hopefully, we'll get them in subsequent meetings. But they just recently retired, so we wanted to let the public be aware of those two retirements and thank them for their service. So the certificates for both of these folks say, upon your retirement, the Greater Lafourche Port Commission hereby acknowledges Frank Terrebonne in appreciation for his 31 years of dedicated service as maintenance superintendent. We wish you good health, happiness, and continued success in your life after retirement. And we have the same certificate for Ms. Cindy Dufresne, who was our human resources analyst, and she had 32 years and 10 months of service to the Port Commission, and we really appreciate all of their service all those years and thank them for what they've done and congratulate them on their retirement. So if we can give them a round of applause. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chassel. And we wish all of them well in their retirement. Next, we have Executive Director's Report. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is our Northern Expansion projects. First project is Northern Expansion Slip C, 1,500-foot East Sweep Dredging Project, PCOL and Associates. Joe PCOL.
Yes, Magnolia Dredge and Dock was the contractor. They completed the project on June the 8th, so we're in the clear lien certificate. We do have a final balancing change order on the agenda for approval. It's a deduction of $7,171.60, so just to balance out the quantities.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, Northern Expansion Slip C and Flotation Canal 1,500-foot bulkhead.
Yes, we are currently advertising for bids. We'll accept bids on July 28th at 2 p.m. in this office.
All right. Any questions on that? And that is also a port priority project, so we'll be working with State DOTD on that project as well. Thank you, Joe. Moving on to Northern Expansion Slip D and Bayou Lafourche Dredge, GIS Engineering. John.
Okay, Crosby Dredging is the contractor on this project. They're still plodding along. They expect to be finished sometime in October. You can see how much they've done with Slip D. They had done a lot in Bayou Lafourche and the flotation canal before then, but now they're in Slip D. You can see the dredge in the middle of that picture. We have one, and that is where they're putting the spoil. It'll be a 190 to 200 acre wetland when we're through with it.
Question. Is Crosby Dredging staying on contract date? They're lagging. They're
He's
doing
lagging.
well?
He expects to be a couple of weeks behind.
He expects to be a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope. Thank
you, John. Northern Expansion GLF 626 site improvements. Angelette Picciola. Sandy.
The notice to proceed on this one was issued on June 8th to Onshore Materials for $1,249,773 for the base bid. The contractor currently has about 75% of the sand in place, and they started offloading limestone They're offloading, they're trucking it via hopper straight from the barge. They should be done Sunday, and then after Sunday, they'll have a few hundred tons of stone they're gonna haul in by truck, and then a little more sand, and then final dress up. The end date is July 28th, and we're pretty sure that they'll be done before then. We are also recommending approval for pay request number 1 in the amount of $484,205.50.
Any questions? Thank you, Sandy. Okay, airport projects. David Bro.
On the airport, our operations for last month were 1,790. We had 9,535 passengers, and the vehicle count was 16,080.
All right. Okay, and the Airport Connector Road and Bridge, Picciola and Associates. Joe.
Yes, Sea Level Construction is the contractor on this project. So we gave them a conditional notice to proceed on May the 10th, which is so they can start buying equipment or buying materials and submitting shop drawings and et cetera to us, prepping for doing the job. That we're going to have a formal notice to proceed issued on August the 8th. So at that time, they're going to start demolition. They'll also start pile driving in the bayou, and their plan is to start working on the drainage work on 3235, the 4-lane first. And then after that, they'll work drainage on LA1 and do embankment work on the connector portion. Right now, we have contractors in there relocating the water line. That should be finished by the end of this week. They're also working on relocating the gas line, and we're also working with Entergy to start moving power poles. We only have to move a few power poles in the direct location where the connector road meets the bridge. And then we have also E-Tail that has to relocate their equipment. So all of that kind of stuff is going on right now in the background.
And if you could expound upon what's going on with sea level and talking to the homeowners in the area as well.
Sea Level is doing a survey right now of all the properties on LA1, 308, and 3235. They're going to do a pre-construction video of all of the neighboring properties. And they're also going to be going door to door and ask permission if they can video inside the home. That's entirely up to the homeowner if they want to let them in. But it's so that they can have a record of what was there before they start construction, and if there's any damage during construction, I'm sure they'll have a record of that also.
Not that there's any anticipated, it's just
No.
you're protecting both parties.
That's exactly right.
And didn't Sea Level do that when they were doing the floodgate
Yes, they did.
improvements?
They did, when we did the floodgate with the levee district, they did it in La Rose, and everybody surprisingly allowed them into their home to video. So, but they were doing heavy pile driving there.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions further? Thank you, Joe. Okay, other projects. We have the Tidal Creek and Bridge and culvert improvements.
Yes, Lowland Construction is the contractor. The project is complete. The lien period is up when we do have a clear lien certificate, so we can pay them the retainage.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Thank you. And on that, just so the board knows, we're actually working on signage for the kayak launch location. Cameras, watching, we're placing cameras to look at it, and we're checking the lighting situation just to make sure we have good lighted facility there. And then we're going to, decide exactly a date that the kayak launch, is going to be open. There's people already cast netting and fishing in that area, but we hadn't really opened it up for kayakers yet. But we're waiting to get all the signage and everything put up before we do that. Okay. All right, the front marina boat shed and lift.
The Picciola Construction is the contractor on this project. They are complete. The project's in the lien period. That should be up in the next few weeks. You do have a change order on your agenda for later. It'll just add 4 days to the contract time for excessive rain. And No change in cost.
And it's been utilized heavily already, and we hadn't seen any issues. Everything's working fine.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bayou Lafourche Mooring Dolphins, Angelette Piciola.
We received bids on June 21st for the demolition of the 14 dolphins and an alternate bid for the reconstruction of 2 of them. We're recommending awarding the base bid to the low bidder Bomac Contractors for $203,000.
All right. Any questions? Okay, and then the Fouchon Beach Restoration and Protection Project.
We're working on the permit with Bryce, going back and forth, and we're proceeding with the project design.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. All right.
All right. Next, we go into public comments. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Anyone have public comment?
Public comment. Okay, I wanted to mention 2 things. First, the LA1 Elevated Highway Phase 2 project, DOTD has announced that the bid letting or bid opening will be on Wednesday, October 6th. So bids will be open on Wednesday, October 6th. So contractors will be looking for that information to be put on the DOTD Falcon site, it's called, very soon, so that they can start looking at those plans for the project. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is you may have seen a box out front in the lobby. We're participating in the Pack the Bus campaign, which is a school supply drive, and it's a partnership between Synergy Bank and United Way. So we have a box out front if anybody from the general public wants to bring in school supplies for that school supply drive. Those school supplies go to Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish schools. They're welcome to come in and do that. And that's all I have.
All right.
Mr. President, we have Ms. LeBlanc here with Lamoga. I don't know if she's here to do a presentation, but I would hope we wouldn't overlook her. Mr. LeBlanc, you have anything you wanted to say, or are you just here for the visit?
Just for the visit, but I'll give an update.
Oh, we'd appreciate that.
Okay, once again, gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. I'm Lori LeBlanc, I'm the Vice President of Lamoga. I was here last month. I gave a little update, so I'll just brief you quickly. So the President, as you may recall, signed an executive order in January, which essentially issued a moratorium on leasing on federal lands and the Gulf of Mexico. So here we are in this moratorium of no offshore lease sales, which is obviously detrimental to the port and to the communities. So that still is ongoing. Department of Interior is scheduled to be issuing a report, and so this moratorium is basically waiting on a report that Department of Interior is doing. My latest update as of this morning is that report could come out as early as tomorrow or the next day. So we hope for that. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what's in the report. We are hoping that they are going to actually lift the ban in the Gulf of Mexico, but it's a review of the whole lease sale. So as soon as that report gets out, I'll be working with Chet. But just recognize that this leasing ban, which has essentially it canceled the March lease sale. We did not have a March lease sale in the Gulf of Mexico. There is supposed to be an August lease sale. There's supposed to be 2 every year. All indications are there is not going to be an August lease sale either. There's no work that's being conducted at Department of Interior as far as we know for an August lease sale. So between those 2 lease sales, and they're not happening this year, it's going to have long-term impacts, obviously, but immediate impacts are estimated to be $20 to $40 million to the state of Louisiana that we typically receive from the bonus bids that go to our coastal restoration and hurricane protection projects. So that's a significant amount of money. So we continue to do our advocacy and our lobbying at the federal level to try to get this moratorium lifted. And I thank Chet and I thank all of you for your partnership on that federal advocacy approach. The one other thing I will add that June 17th, Tommy Boudreau was confirmed as the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Interior. You may recall that Mr. Boudreau, not Boudreau, he's from Alaska. Mr. Boudreau, spelled like Boudreau though, he worked under the Obama administration and was actually the very first director of the BOEM agency within Interior, and he's somebody that we have worked with before and believe that he will be somebody worthwhile that we can meet with and work through these issues. So with that, any questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you,
Mr. Blanc.
thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right. Nope.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget Edwin W. Edwards that passed away this week. He really was helpful to the port for a long time, did a lot of good things for state and the oil industry and everything else. And I just wanted to mention his name and put it in the records.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, next, consider approving a request from the Lafourche Drainage District Number 1 to extend the Port Complex offices, which our committee members are Chucky Sherman, Chairman, Rodney J. Gisclair Sr., Mike Colley, and John Nelson.
Okay, the Lafourche Drainage District Number 1 has been renting office space next door, the complex, for many years now, and their lease has come up, and they would like to extend that lease for another year, and it gives them one office and access to the conference room.
All right, need a motion.
Move.
Moved by John Mellison, second by Jimmy LaFaux. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, consider approving the request from Weeks Marine for a short-term parking lease at the airport.
All right, Weeks Marine is doing some work out of the port, and in any high water or storm events, they would like to bring vehicles up into the airport. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mike Colley, second by Johnny Ardorn. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the request from Odyssey Marine to lease mooring dolphins number 46 to 48.
Odyssey Marine has requested a 6-month lease on those 3 mooring dolphins. Recommendation to approve.
Need a motion. Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Curtis Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, consider approving the request from Shore Base Services for site GLF 621-2.
Okay, so this is the site that is unbulkheaded on the basically on the west side of Slip C. The request here is to extend. They requested 5 years, but as of our discussion on Monday evening at our committee meetings, and I have since spoken to Mr. Lee Buziga, and they would accept the 3-year extension rather than 5, with 2 surveys a year, so every 6 months to do survey.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Larry Griffin, second by John Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the cooperative endeavor agreement with South Central Planning and Development Commission for property on 3235.
Okay, so this property we've been discussing for a month or so. It's 7 acres along LA 3235. A small portion of it has a rock, quote-unquote, parking lot there. You can see a picture of that. It's about $103,000 appraised value. They have no use for the property and would like to donate to us. The only stipulation is that if we ever want to discharge of the property, meaning we don't want it anymore, then we have to give it back to them. So outside of that, we could use it for whatever important business we want to use it for.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Johnny Ardorn, second by Mike Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, consider approving the request from Martin Operating Partners to sublease to Tetra site GLF 301-15.
All right, so Martin Operating Partners subleases a portion of this site on Old Pass Fouchon already to Tetra, and their request is to sublease the rest of that site.
Okay, need a motion. Moved by Larry Griffin, second by Curtis Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
We do have some gentlemen from Martin. I don't know if they have any comments, but thank y'all for being here today. Okay.
All right. Next, we have consider approving the revision to the COVID policy 19.
Okay, as y'all know, we've been working on a COVID policy since last year. What we're adding to the policy, if you approve, would be that we're making a statement that says, refer to CDC guidelines for any updated changes. If changes have been made and are not covered by this policy, GLPC can opt to follow those changes. This statement here, we believe, gives us the opportunity to change how we operate in terms of COVID policy as CDC guidelines allow us to.
All right.
Okay.
Need a motion. Moved by Mike Collier, second by Jim Lafourche. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, consider approving the request from Loop to sublease the buffer zone at the airport to Butterfat Cattle Company.
All right, so Loop has a buffer zone around their tank farm on the outside of their fence. They're requesting to have Butterfat Cattle Company sublease it so that they can cut the grass. And as you know, Butterfat is already cutting the grass on our property in that area.
Okay, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Chris Collier, second by Curtis Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the right-of-way to South Coast Gas along LA1 at the Airport Connector Road.
All right, so South Coast Gas has to do some utility work in that area, and we are the property owners now, so we need to give them a right-of-way.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Millicent, second by Mr. Lafourche. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider adopting a resolution in support of resuming federal offshore leasing in the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, so this was a request from, and y'all know we've been talking to Scott Angel, and he put this resolution together and has requested others, and as well as ourselves, to pass this resolution, basically outlining all the benefits of the oil and gas industry, and that we want to have a balanced approach to our energy in the nation. And from here, we'll be talking to the Ports Association of Louisiana and other ports in Louisiana to hopefully approve this resolution as well. Recommendation is to approve this resolution.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Chris Collier, seconded by Mr. Johnny Ordon. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, consider approving the cooperative endeavor agreement with Nichols regarding the camp in Fouchon.
All right, so Nichols has leases a camp in Fouchon from Wisner. They have the lease. I had a meeting with them, been talking to them for a little bit about how we could work together with them and partner with them. The initial thing that they really need help with right now is just the grass cutting maintenance around the camp. So this is a simple cooperative endeavor agreement that says that we would go and cut the grass and they would give us minimal and reasonable access to the buildings if and when necessary. And then we're going to continue to work with them, and there'll probably be a subsequent cooperative endeavor agreement for some other things as well, but this is an initial one.
All right.
Move.
Need a move. Moved by Mike Collier, seconded by Mr. Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, consider approving the state lands water bottom lease at the vessel relocation site in Galliano.
Okay, so this is as part of the project that we're doing on the property that we purchased in Bayou Lafourche, further south from where the bridge project is and airport corridor project is. There's a section that's over state water bottoms, and as part of the process and the permitting process, we need to have a lease on those. That's minimal area of state water bottoms.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Curtis Pierce, seconded by Chris Collier. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, next we're getting out of,
Can I
go ahead.
put in some? Okay, on the COVID-19, I'd urge all of y'all who never had your vaccination to go get it. It's making a comeback. They say Mississippi is a hot spot right now, and Louisiana is right behind it. And it's not over by a long shot, so I strongly urge for y'all to get vaccinated. it's something that should be done. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Griffin. We're getting out of Executive Committee, going to Permits and Waterways Committee. Chairmans are Curtis Pierce, Jimmy Lafourche, Johnny Ardor, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. President. We only have one item, and it's a permit on Cantium in Lafourche Parish. It's the proposed drilling of a SL 1367 well, number 070, and installation of 19,000 linear feet of flow lines in state waters. Proposed installation of 2,400 foot of flow line in federal waters will be reviewed by consistency. Approximately 5,000 cubic yards of material will be jetted and naturally backfilled, and approximately 166 cubic yards of concrete and 166 cubic yard of sand will be required at pipeline crossing. Approximately 2.50 acres of non-vegetated water bottom may be impacted as a result of this proposed activity. And that concludes my report for the waters and permits, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pierce. Next, we're going to the Construction and Development Committee. Members are Larry Griffin, Chairman, Chris Colley, Jimmy Lafourche, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Griffin, your turn.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is consider approving the change order number 1 from Magnolia Dredge and Dock for the Slip C 1,500 feet east sweep dredge.
All right, this change order is for a deduction of $7,171.60. Recommendation to approve.
I need a motion. Moved by Mr. Larry Griffin, second by Mr. Chris Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next is consider approving the clear lien certificate from Lowland Construction Company for the Tidal Creek Bridge and culvert improvements.
We have received the clear lien certificate. The project is complete. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion by Mr. Curtis Pierce, second by Mr. Jimmy Lafourche. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next is consider approving change order number 1 from Picciola Construction Company for the front commercial marina boat lift.
Okay, this change order is for an additional 4 days because of bad weather. Recommendation
All right.
to approve.
Okay, need a motion. Moved by Jimmy Lafourche, second by Larry Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next is consider approving the lowest of responsive bid for the Bayou Lafourche mooring dolphins.
All right, we had a base bid. We're recommending to award the base bid of $203,000 to Bomac Contractors Limited. Thank you.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mike Colley, second by Mr. Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Next, we're getting out of Construction and Development Committee, going into Finance Committee. Members are John Mellison, Jr., Chairman, Rodney J. Gisclair, Sr., Mike Colley, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Mellison, your turn.
Good morning and thank you, Mr. President. That's a pretty long agenda for you today.
Yep.
Item 1, we'll consider approving payments on the June 2021 invoices and recognizing those over $10,000. We'll begin with item 1. Crosby Dredging, LLC, $1,018,480.70, and that's for dredging of Slip D and Bayou Lafourche. Item 2, Onshore Materials, $484,205.50, and that's for GLF 626 site improvements. Item 3, Magnolia Dredge and Dock, LLC, $186,587.76, and that's for the Northern Expansion Slip C 1,500 linear feet of east sweep dredge. Item 4, Grand Isle Shipyard Engineering, LLC, $117,008.53, and that's for several items: dredging of Slip D, West Fouchon Borough investigation survey, engineering for Fouchon Island permitting, general engineering and consulting, and the airport terminal building. Item 5, Picciola and Associates, $75,367.80, and that's also for several items: Slip C, 1,500 linear feet of bulkhead, engineering services for the mitigation areas. Slip C, 1,500 linear feet sweep dredge, engineering for mooring caissons at the Golden Meadow locks. Retainage due for the Tidal Creek Bridge and culvert improvements, and engineering, general engineering and permit services. Item 6, Angelette Picciola LLC, $47,018.02, and that's for dredge and marsh creation permits drawings for Fouchon Island, along with GLF 626 site improvements and the Fouchon Bridge. Item 7, Vision Communication, $41,138.71, and that's for internet, phone, cable, and fiber services. Item 8, Lowland Construction Company Incorporated, $40,070.07. The Tidal Creek Bridge and culvert improvements for slip D mitigation. Item 8, A&G Refrigeration, $38,300 even, and that is for a heat pump condenser on the EOC AC unit down in Fouchon. Item 10, Rox Electric Incorporated, $36,057.08, and that's for a PAPI circuit repair. Item 11, Sea Level Construction Incorporated, $31,200, and that's for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge project. Item 12, Southland Dodge, $31,127.40, and that's for a 2020 Ram 1500 crew truck. Item 13, Ascent Aviation Group, $27,962.65, and that's fuel for resale at the airport, along with truck rental. Item 14, Grand Isle Shipyard, $25,091.85. That's for contract labor for Fouchon and at the airport. Item 15, American Integration Contractors, $19,617.07, and that's for security, cameras, maintenance, and support. Item 16, Tidewater Dock Incorporated, $15,200, and that's for repairs at the Nerby Collins Marina. Item 17, Waggersback Oil Company Incorporated, $13,118.19, and that's for fuel and diesel for port vehicles and equipment. And these expenditures, along with the rest, bring us to a total of $2,875,239.48. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these expenditures.
All right, I got a motion by Mr. Velison, second by Mr. Khalid. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You're gonna have to wait till the next public comment, who already made the motion and all.
Next on the agenda, consider approving the out-of-state travel and training request. We have Executive Director Chasson, along with Director of Grants and Communications, Thad Angelos, attending the OTC Annual Conference in Houston in the Louisiana Economic Development section.
All right.
Next we have, I know we're caught off guard right here, but if you bear with me, I think we can finish this. Next we have Joe Colston, an IT Systems Specialist, attending the DEF CON Security Conference in Nevada, August 4th through the 9th. Next we have Chet Chasson, Executive Director, and Thad Angelos, Director of Grants and Communication, attending the Deepwater Topside Platform and Hull conferences in the Port Fouchon exhibitor booth, also in Texas, on October 4th through the 7th. And last, we have approval for Chet Chasson, Executive Director, for testifying in the U.S. Senate Environment and Public Committee work, which was done on June 23rd and through the 25th in Washington, D.C. And Mr. President, I would like to make a motion we accept this out-of-state travel and training request.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Mellison, second by Mr. Chris Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? On this subject or the other one? Well, you're gonna have to wait till public comment comes up at the end.
Just wait a second. We're about to move into there.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Finance Committee report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mellison. Any other business?
Here you go, Billy.
Now, public comment. Now you can, Billy.
Hey, thank you, Chucky. Thank you, gentlemen. This is the second time I ever get to address y'all, councilman, and it's kind of nice to be back after the corona. You know, we all had a little scare with that. But I had a chance to meet with Joey Buzigard this morning and a couple of our commissioners in town. I've been away for a few months, but come back to town and again, helicopters flying over the house low, enough to where you can see the numbers. I mean, if I can look up and see an N, a 1, a 0, they're a little too close. And I thought we had an agreement. I understand we have a heliport and I'm not talking about planes. Planes kind of glide, but helicopters, I mean, to work offshore, you got to go in a simulator, be thrown on the water. I remember as a kid working with Captain Jimmy Gidger.
Can I ask you a question? Is there, like, what is your question? Like, you have an issue?
I got my 2 minutes,
Is there
huh?
an issue?
Yeah,
2 minutes, huh?
Yeah, but is there an issue?
I'm not gonna take 2 minutes.
Is there an issue?
Okay, as a kid, working with Jimmy Gidry, we were able to pick up some survivors of a helicopter crash. No, thank goodness nobody died. And I still remember the helicopter pilot saying, this is the 3rd time I crashed. So, my point, I have the support of the mayor, I have the support of a couple of councilmen. I know the port has some power to take care of safety. We do a lot of it at the port. You know, we took prime fishing grounds away for safety, which is, you know, you can't pull a bottom troll from the flotation canal to the rocks and vice versa. Hey, we all perfectly understand that. That's safety. Heck, if I want to go kill ducks at the Fouchon like I did before, that's safety. We can't do that. You know, there's several things. But I think the port has a responsibility. I mean, we have a lawyer. Can y'all draw up something with some teeth? I mean, because my meeting with Joey, he said, man, we've talked about this countless times, and it goes on deaf ears. And all it's going to take is one crash. And I think y'all going to bear some responsibility if anything happens.
So, all right, let me respond to that. So
can y'all do anything?
Yeah,
That's
so
my
one,
point.
yeah, let me respond.
So
we've contacted already this morning our 2 helicopter companies that operate out of the airport and told them, look, we have some issues again, we need to fix that. 2, you mentioned the tail numbers. If you can read the tail numbers, absolutely that's too low, 1. 2, if you can record those tail numbers and give them to us, then we absolutely can go and say, look, your helicopter. 3, colors would help us, because if we know what the colors of the helicopters are, then we know exactly who those helicopters belong to, and we can address those directly. I have several. So 4, so there's DOTD Aviation and there's FAA. We as a heliport, as an airport, we have some, we can talk to our customers and say, hey, you can't do this. What we don't control is airspace.
I understand.
So,
I know.
We're going to advocate for our community and advocate for the people in our jurisdiction to stop that from happening.
And I've met with Joey Buzigard this morning, and the exact words out of his mouth. He said, Billy, I've gone over there with pictures, and still, it seems like it's fallen on deaf ears. And I'm going to say, it's only going to take one accident. Mm-hmm. You know, it happens more often than not. I mean, you have an attorney here. Can y'all draw? And I'm asking, my request.
We've never got, I'm going to tell you straight, Mr. Buzigard has never contacted me, or the whole town council has never spoke to me about it. Last time, Mr. Buzigard, before you come and throw them into the mix, tell them to contact us. I have not been contacted. I met with Mr. Buzigard Friday night. I talked to him. Never once spoke to me. I've seen the town council. Not a one has ever spoke to it to me. So you coming over here putting words in their mouth that they have never spoke to me yet. So if they have a problem, tell them to come talk to me.
But me
and this board has had anybody contact them?
Nope.
Again, as a
Ma'am?
I told Joey this morning, he said, Billy, you have the right as a resident to go and tell him you have my support.
Yeah, you got your
And
right,
Chucky,
but
I love you,
don't
brother,
throw
as a
somebody
brother.
into there when we have not gotten anybody.
Listen, my request is, can I get 2 commissioners to promise me to discuss it at your next meeting? Because all it takes is 2 commissioners.
No.
And come up,
No,
well,
unless Joey and I
listen, just
talk to
come
me
up with
about
something with some
It's not
teeth.
gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, I'm not putting it on the agenda until Joey or the town comes talk to me.
Can 2 of your commissioners, we got 9 independent thinkers on this board. Can we get 2 commissioners to bring it up at your next meeting and discuss it? And come up with something with some teeth. Just like, hey, if I go pull a trolley Fouchon, I'm getting arrested, right?
Your 3 minutes are up, Mr. Brunet.
Huh?
Your 3 minutes are up.
Okay? I can't go shoot no ducks at Fouchon. I'm gonna be in trouble. You know, I mean, and that's safety. I'm just saying that's safety.
No, I understand.
And you all have a responsibility with the airport.
Understand.
And all, my request is a waypoint below Tidewater Dock, coming, a waypoint over no residential area.
We will absolutely
As long as I can get it on the record. I have it on the record.
It is on the record.
And listen, while you're talking to the mayor, if you could, please have him send us a letter.
Huh?
While you're talking to the mayor, have us send us a letter. And
At the
we'll put it-
next
and-
town
And we'll put
meeting?
it on the agenda to talk about it. But let us, if you could, being you have a good relationship with him, get that in a letter form, what he's looking for us to do, to see if we have the jurisdiction, if we have the capability of going outside the federal aviation. But a letter from Mr. Buzigar would be nice.
I will,
Okay.
listen, I talked to Mr. Willis earlier. He said we had our town meeting. I just got
Okay.
home. At the next town meeting, if I'm not called away,
Good.
we can get a letter. But
And Mr. Brunet, we passed the
Thank you.
3-minute mark, so we're going to do the
Thank
best
you.
we could for you,
But
okay?
I will comment further that we will discuss this with DOTD, we will discuss it with FAA.
Thank you.
And the issue, but again, I'll just repeat what I said earlier. We have control over the facilities at the site, but when you're dealing with airspace, it's, we don't have any control of that. So not all, I'm not gonna say all we can do, but what we can do immediately is contact DOTD and FAA and say, hey, look, we have an issue, can you help us? Okay?
All right. Mr.
Comment. During the BP spill, I flew a lot, state police helicopter, and with commercial helicopters. FAA regulation, 500 feet, commercial helicopter, they can fly 500 feet above anybody. State police helicopter fly any distance above anybody. That's the only exception. Just wanted to put that in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right.
Motion to move to close, Mr.
Got a
President.
motion by Mr. Mellison, second by Mr. Lafont. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Everyone enjoy your time. We had a good weekend at the rodeo this weekend, so everybody enjoy your time and have a good Randall Torpin Rodeo if you're going. Be safe when you're going through Fouchon. Number one thing, people are going to Randall, taking that road, turning on LA1, be safe. We had a wreck a couple of weeks ago, so everyone be safe. Meeting closed.